All right, let's move on. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Where are we moving?
I was not ready for that. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Jess Adele, and yesterday, finally, we got some gameplay footage of Cyberpunk 2077. Get your body ready. Also, if you didn't have time to watch the 48 minutes of this, today we have Ricky with us. He's gonna break things down. Was it worth the wait? 6 years?
Yeah, it was so awesome. It wasn't the final version of what we're gonna see, but it's a really good indication of where it's moving. So let's start a little bit about what we saw. So 48-minute gameplay demo. It starts at the beginning of the story. We see our main character, V. She's rescuing a kidnapped woman who is being taken by scavengers. They steal parts from cybernetics from people. And then later on, we get into the main quest, and the main quest has us stealing back a really powerful piece of machinery that was taken from a corporation, and we basically go into a compound and we raid it and we steal it back. So that's the gist of what we saw in the demo in terms of the story, but there's so much more to go into in terms of what we actually saw.
I mean, and it was 48 minutes, so that was a good summary, though.
Yeah.
Got any questions for me?
Clear on it all, I think. Time I got to work.
Beautiful. Here's hoping my inkling checks out.
Can we talk about character creation a bit more now?
Right.
Yeah.
So, Cyberpunk is going to be a deep RPG, and that means that we'll be able to customize our characters fully. And what's really interesting is we saw a little bit of the character creation screen, and we have some of the key points in terms of what's going to make our character who they are. So we have a childhood hero, where we get to choose different people in the Cyberpunk world who affect who we respect, I guess. And we don't know to what extent that's going to play in terms of what it's going to do for our character, but we do know that it matters. Then we have a key life event. So we could run away from home, our first big kill, or the death of a sibling, which will also affect how we perceive the world and the kind of character we are. And then we have another one, which is why we choose the main city that we're in, which is Night City. An ex-lover's in town, that we have something to prove, or we have unfinished business.
Need to get to know this city, Jack. Not just gun in hand. I'm on a crusade.
So again, we're not sure exactly to the extent these are going to play, but they're important choices that we have to make.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, actually getting to choose a bit of your character's origins, that is sick. It's not just like, okay, here's your guy.
Exactly.
That's it. It's like, no, I get to choose how my life begins.
There's the immersion for sure. And then we kind of move on to the basic RPG stuff, which is the stats. So we have strength, constitution, intelligence, reflexes, tech. And there's also another stat which is called cool, which is interesting, which I haven't seen before, but from what I understand, this stat is something that'll help you in the world. So in terms of
like
maybe
the street cred
yeah,
thing,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, like not cracking under pressure, maybe giving you different dialogue options and how the NPCs treat you depending on how cool you are. So that's an interesting stat to look forward to. Yeah, it's super.
It's not just like, okay, basic NPC is always going to say
Right.
this. It's like based on your cool points,
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
It
they
really
can treat you
adds to
differently.
the immersion, right?
Yeah.
2 questions. What the fuck's going on? And who the fuck is this?
So, Night City, this thriving metropolis, absolutely stunning from what we saw in the gameplay trailer. It's a seamless open world. They said that there's going to be no loading screens, which is awesome.
Bonkers.
Yeah, complete immersion. What I found really interesting was the advertisements in the world are actually, when you interact with them, they're tailor-made for you. So in the gameplay trailer, we see V go up to one of these advertisements, and it directs her to a place where she can buy a drink. And it's kind of like, I guess, a health potion in the game. So I find that interesting that the world is reacting to you, and you're reacting to it.
That is seriously awesome.
What's
When is
also-
that going to happen in our world?
Yeah. What's also cool is a full day and night cycle, which is interesting because I guess we'll see how Night City is in the daytime and how it is at nighttime. Presumably there'll be more NPCs, different quests that are available, different opportunities. I'm really excited about that and to see how it's going to shift and evolve because it is a living, breathing city.
Dang, this is just an hour of footage,
Yeah.
and it goes that deep already.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane.
They gave us some awesome stuff to work with.
Yeah. Speaking of a lot of details,
Yeah.
class system and upgrades.
Oh man.
Got it.
There are many skills in the game that players can apply in solving problems. The engineering skill can be used to fix, disassemble, and disarm devices blocking
Production
your
lane
path.
passes through here.
And we're gonna pass through with it.
Okay, so talking about classes, skills, and upgrades, there's a lot to unpack here, so I'll try to just condense everything down.
Cyberpunk 2077 features a fluid class system, and you'll be able to modify your class throughout the game.
So from what we know, there's going to be 3 different types of classes. We have our netrunners, who are proficient with hacking. We have our techies, which presumably have the ability to repair certain weapons, find materials, and this can also play into the crafting system, which we haven't seen, but there's actually a tab that shows crafting. Ooh. So there'll be some interesting things there. And then we have our solo class, which is basically your standard soldier with a bunch of different abilities, faster reflexes, better shooting. So those are our 3 classes. And what's interesting about these classes is that they're going to be fluid throughout the entire game, which means that you're not going to be locked down to having one of them.
Yeah.
So depending on what cyberware upgrades you choose. So for example, in the gameplay demo, we see that we're in a compound and we're trying to get out after things go wrong. And we use an engineering skill to bypass a door. So that's just one way in which we can get out of a situation. And depending on where you put your skill points, we'll be able to get out of situations in different ways. So that's cool, and that's something I'm really, really looking forward to playing around with, right?
I appreciate that so much. So many times I've started a game, I pick a class, and I regret it later on.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I could have done this really cool thing, but I'm stuck, I can't.
They're doing that right, I think.
Amazing.
Without locking
I
you
love
into
that.
something. Talking a little bit about the armor, we kind of see that we have our different pieces, and all of them have their built-in stats because this is an RPG. And we'll also be able to get, in terms of experience, we'll be able to get street cred, which is a form of experience you get through doing side missions. And this will allow you to unlock different things within Night City, different vendors. So that's going to be interesting as well to see how getting street cred will change the city and the options you have available. Let's talk a little bit about upgrades. Because we saw very briefly our character V goes to something called a Ripper Doctor. And in the demo, we got a subdermal upgrade, which is kind of like an upgrade for your hand, where you can pick up a weapon and see the statistics of that weapon, what it does, the ammo count, and it actually adds base stats to the weapon, so that's cool.
That's how to like make an interface make sense in that world.
Exactly.
Love that.
Which
Good
is
detail.
also something super important that they do is the immersion is so key here, and everything has to make sense.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're going from cutscenes to gameplay super fluidly, so totally makes sense.
And then we'll even have different types of Ripper Doctors. So there's some that sell on the black market more illegal, stronger weapons, which I'm presuming is going to be in the end game. And that's pretty much it from what we got. So a lot to unpack there, a lot to look forward to. I'm super excited. It seems like it's going to be really, really deep and just a lot of fun to explore.
Oh yeah, I'm so ready. I'm a little overwhelmed with all that information, but I'm ready to try it out for myself.
And we still haven't got into weapons.
Oh my God! Oh, it's true.
Right.
Jeez, there's so much.
Yeah, so
I can't. Okay, go ahead.
Let's do it.
Weapons.
So from what we saw, we have this really cool item which is called like a reflex booster, and it's kind of like an asthma pump. You take a hit and you move everything moves in like slow motion. Oh, so you can target different parts of the body when you're hitting people. You can just move faster, be more efficient. So that was a cool thing that seemed like really a big part of the gameplay.
That's really cool.
And as you're raiding the compound, we got to see some of the more awesome guns. So we saw tech weapons, which are weapons that penetrate through walls and penetrate through heavy armor. And they have 2 different modes. So an alternate firing mode for the shotgun that we saw in the game. You can change it so that it's even more powerful. Then we pick up something called the smart weapon, which I find interesting as a concept, where you can have tracking bullets. So this may be, so we were talking about how they're gonna balance something where you can, a bullet can track an enemy and hit it. The bullets probably won't be as strong.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, that kind of sounds OP.
Kind of cheap, yeah, kind of OP. So I'm sure they're gonna integrate that in an interesting way, but they wanna give you the option because this is a futuristic world, so why wouldn't you have tracking bullets? Another interesting thing about weapons is how customizable they're going to be, because again, this is an RPG, so the way you would have a sword in an RPG and you can kind of add runes to it or have special effects, the same thing will happen for your weapons. You'll have these things called weapon modules, and as you upgrade the weapons with these weapon modules, they'll have different abilities. So one of the ones that we saw in the trailer, in the gameplay trailer, was a ricochet targeting system where you can bounce bullets off walls. And that's one module that you add to the weapon, which will change your playstyle.
We've got a lot of choices here.
Yeah.
Speaking of choices.
Yeah.
I asked if you came alone.
Yep, just little old me.
So the choices that you make have far-reaching effects, and there's choices within choices. So it's going to be a very deep and layered choice system, and there's going to be multiple playthroughs with all different kinds of results.
This game in general, like
Yeah,
every
it's
little
massive.
section,
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
depth. This is insane.
It's massive. A lot to unpack, a lot to look forward to, but I'm super excited that they're giving us this much depth.
Yeah, makes me wonder how game overs are gonna work. But speaking of game overs, we're actually running out of time.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick look at the community tab and see what you guys have to say about this. All right, so if you don't mind, I'm just gonna borrow this for a second and read some comments. All right, so Novad Seller says, everything I could have wanted and more, far more, especially the arm claws.
Oh yeah, the arm claws were pretty awesome. Got a little glimpse of what Melee is going to look like in the game. Yeah, that's going to be cool. I can't wait to see how that's going to turn out.
Now that's how you make Melee actually useful in a game.
Yeah.
Next comment's from Hello Yes. I feel spoiled. Everything was fine, but it was like listening to an album you've been hyping for months and someone leaks it in its entirety.
Not really. I don't agree with that because we don't know.
That was a lot of information though, so I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, but it's not a final product and it's just a
True.
small part of an entire world. So you're getting a glimpse. I mean, you're going to have to see it eventually, you know, and you probably won't see it until 2020, so savor whatever you did see. Hello, yes.
Yeah, in tribute of the original game.
Right.
They released it in 2020.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm
Imagine, though?
thinking.
Oh
That's
my
what I'm
God.
thinking.
That'd be really
It
cool.
would be cool.
That's actually a nice touch. It would suck to wait a little longer, but
Right.
like that would be a nice little detail.
Artistic.
Anyway, Commander Ren says, it was okay. The dialogue and lack of third person annoys me.
You know, the dialogue, I get that. And again, it was a very small portion of what you're seeing, so we don't know how much there is. But yeah, it was a little bit like, I guess, cut and dry, a lot of swearing. But that's the world you live in. It's a brutal world, man. People are just, you know, scavenging and trying to make ends meet, and there's a lot of violence, so you got people...
Yeah, it makes sense in that city. so-
Exactly.
But also for third person, I get that.
I
Because,
get it.
I mean, you're designing your own character, and then you won't even really be able to see them. I think having the option of switching between first and third would be nice, maybe.
It's a possibility they could add to the game, but the first person is a narrative thing. It drives the immersion of the game.
It's true.
You're interacting with the world completely differently when you're in first person. So, you know, that's a narrative choice, and we have to trust that they're doing the right thing.
It's a lot more ideal for a first-person shooter type
Right.
game anyway. 'Cause
Exactly.
There's going to be a lot of that, but anyway.
Scanning a serious job just now. Playing gargantuan compared to smashing up a scare phone. You interested?
All right, so that's all the time that we have today. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a lot of information to absorb, so let us know what you guys are most hyped about in the comments below, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.